guys, thanks a lot for holding off post lunch. I really appreciate it because I know how hard post lunch sessions are for me. So, lots of love for all of you. I have a very interesting panel and personally a very interesting relationship with everyone here. We'll start off with Althea. I actually have spoken to her on the phone many, many times. But this is the first time we are meeting. Sometimes this is how things happen. And yeah, I guess that's how the profession works. And with Ella also, I met more recently, and in the process of this event, we became closer. And with Imran, we are meeting the first time, so why not? So maybe we can start off with some opening thoughts. Yeah. I have a policy of doing ladies first, so maybe Althea, you can start with your opening thoughts plus any question that you feel that you're prepared and you want to start speaking on.
Hello everybody, good afternoon. I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Althea Edwina and I've been practicing here since the past 16 years. I started in my company in 2021 and we majorly focus into corporate commercial matters, litigation, succession planning, intellectual property registrations, enforcement, so forth and so on. Now, moving on to the subject about cross-border data flow. Thinking about it, without data flow, especially in the present scenario, we can't think about economic development. We have, globalization has been opened up and data has to flow. Only then we can have development in our economy, logistics, whatever you think, even innovation, research, technology, everything has to go hand in hand. Now when countries try to adopt the rules, they adopt their rules for they have certain agenda in mind why they adopt. So it has to be done in such a way that it does not act as a friction for seamless data flow. But at the same time, what we have to think is that when a country has its own norms and regulations, they do it for the sake of national security, personal privacy. There is so much of sensitive data that's being transferred. So I would suggest and I opine that even though we think a seamless data flow has come to an end, but it's not an end. It's an adaptation that's happening where there is data flow with regulations put in place in the better interest of the person, the society and the country. I would like to pass it on to Imran.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Imran Nawaz. I am Group Chief Strategy Officer for HEDEN Group. Just giving you a brief introduction about the company. We are in agriculture. So we are agriculture group. We are in trading. We are in IT. We are in farms growing vegetables and fruits, as well as we are dealing in agriculture machinery and tools. So as we have a diversified portfolio, as per the topic which has given us today to speak on that, data flow definitely is very important nowadays because day by day new innovations are coming. The beginning of the new era, digital, everything has started. Everybody is going to digitalize their, we can say their products, their platforms, their portfolios, because customers are very sharp now. If we think, if we discuss or we talk about like 10 years ago, at that time, maybe we can say customer was not aware that much. But today, when we saw a big giants like Noon, Amazon, and when hundred or thousands of transactions are happening on daily basis, how they are controlling their data flow, how they are moving their transactions with the perspective of compliance, governance, risk, as well as fintech, which is also very important, and they have made customer life very easy. We can just go to their website and we can just select anything and we order. But behind the reverse engineering or the mechanism that they are maintaining, that is very complex. And equally important that they are consuming time every day to make it better and better, more convenient for customers. And the more important thing which comes is how they are strategizing everything. Businesses, in simple words, is a very simple, or we can say a very common word. But when you are thinking as a business owner, as a CEO, or as a decision maker, you have to think, or you have to keep an eye on everything. You cannot ignore anything. The new trends in the market, your competitors, your suppliers, your customer satisfaction, which is very important, because without customer satisfaction, you can't move, you can't generate your business. So all in this perspective, the importance of data flow has emerged out as a key point. And yes, companies are depending on their data, and they are securing their data as well. So now I just will pass to Ella. She can share her insights.
Thank you. My name is Ella Young. I'm working for China Telecom, Africa and Middle East division. So China Telecom is a telecommunication service provider. We have come to this region since early 2000. First, we established our physical office in South Africa, then Kenya, and then later we moved to Middle East, and almost we consider Dubai as our operational headquarters. Regarding data transfer, back in school, I'm quite interested in this topic because it's a topic that we balance the protection of fundamental human rights, and also we take into consideration how to inspire economic development, innovation. So I'm very looking forward to our discussion soon. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the introductory remarks. Maybe Althea, I'll start with you. I wanted your perspective. I know you already started mentioning about seamless data flow. What I was interested to understanding from you, Althea, is with the rise of digital sovereignty, are we seeing an end to seamless data flow, or where exactly do you see the needle is moving at this point? Maybe you can continue from your intro remark from there.
Yes, so like I said, why do we need more? So like I mentioned, without seamless data flow, it seems like we don't have development at all. Because in this era where there is cross-border trade happening, cross-border, everything is cross-border. Now when you think of 20 years back, we hardly used to think of going to a different place, at least to visit a place. But now it's like, okay, today I want to go tomorrow. So much of data is transferred. Now every country will try to, not to impose, every country will try to regulate the flow of data between borders, is because of, it could be a national concern because of its security. Also an individual's privacy could be at stake. So it doesn't mean that seamless data flow has come to an end, but there could be a small friction which can reduce it because regulations are coming in place. Now if you see the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development also try to, the main aim is to enhance or develop business and trade, but at the same time they also try to protect and implement principles to protect data. So you can't say that the sovereign regulations are going to impose restrictions. They're going to impose restrictions and it's a period of adjustment rather than say to put a stop to it. This is my view on it. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it, Althea. Maybe I'll move to Ella at this point, and particularly with her experiences with China Telecom. Ella, I was wondering if you can just explain your thoughts on the patchwork problem, you know, in comparison with the European data rules, and in case there's any conflict with, let's say, the local Chinese or any other jurisdictions' data rules. Any thoughts on that from your China Telecom perspective?
Well, by answering this question, I want to start by introducing the framework of China Telecom. It's headquartered in Hong Kong, while it has operations over Asia Pacific, African and Middle East, and also Europe. So basically, cross-border data flow is happening every day in our operations. And our approach towards this problem is more jurisdiction-specific rather than centralization. So from GDPR perspective, we all know that this regulation applies to European Economic Area. So which means that personal data, they can freely flow inside EU and European Economic Zone member states. And if those data flows into areas outside this region, then it triggers a different layer of governance. So if data flows into jurisdictions that are considered by European Union as providing adequate level of protection, then no additional safeguards are required. For multinational companies, theoretically they can apply binding corporate rules. This is more straightforward and easy. However, realistically, very few multinational groups are really adopt this solution because it has a higher approval threshold. So for our group company, we adopt a standard contractual clauses approach. And by this approach, we are adapting those clauses to the regional laws, and we want to make sure that these clauses clearly depict the controller-processor relationship, the allocation of responsibilities, and also we want to provide hands-on data handling instructions inside those clauses. And of course, there are more complicated situations where standard contractual clauses are not sufficient enough. Then, such situations, we're going to introduce data protection impact assessment as a risk mapping tool. So this tool will help us to analyze the data model, the data flows, the necessity and proportionality of data transfer. And also we're going to analyze the potential impact on personal rights and freedom. And and as well, we want to find whether we can provide mitigating measures, or maybe there will be alternative technical or organizational solutions. So regarding the patchwork problem in a nutshell, I consider our company talks approach around the principles where we want to make the risks more visible and manageable and accountable.
Thank you, Ella. I appreciate that. Imran, if we can just continue from where Ella left, on the point of opposite directions when it comes to data regulations. So maybe from your Chief Strategy Officer perspective, can you share your thoughts on how organizations can have a globally compliant data strategy if the localization laws are going in different directions? Any thoughts on that?
A very good question. Definitely yes. When we think about it, country to country or city to city, when law is pulling over in different directions, at that time how you can strategize your business is very important, because you can't apply everything on the same level or in the same design everywhere. So as per business point of view, what we can do that we should base on principles, common principles, and then country to country we can execute the framework by design. So in that case, because the culture is different, the human psychology is different, customer behavior is different in every country, their purchasing power, their behavior, their thinking is different. So in that way, you can more focus towards main principal roles or main common standards, and after that you can categorize execution country to country. So what will happen, you have one umbrella, and under that umbrella you are doing sub-classification of data, and under this sub-classification of data, you can follow or abide by the rules of each country. So in that way, you can control or you can have a good command on your business.
Fair. That's a good one actually. Thank you. Althea, if I can come to you right now, and maybe I wanted to tap into your experience on data compliance advisory that you've given before. So, when you see a client, for example, that is moving their data architecture into, let's say, a global cloud, what typically are the hidden risks that come into your mind that immediately trigger that this is something that needs to be worked on?
So now when you say for companies, when MNCs who have footprint globally, so they are more susceptible to such kind of dangers. Now when you say there will be something, sometimes duplication of data when it goes to the cloud. So it might be in one country, in one destination, and it can also go to another destination, which might be in the blind spot of the company. And in that area, maybe they are not within the regulations. So there comes a gap again there. So such risk is there that companies, it's not that they do it deliberately, but it, by chance it goes out from their notice. So such blind spots could come up. Then, like I said, the data replication. So for this to mitigate all these factors, what has to be done is, one is you should have like regular assessments of the risk to see if there is any duplication that has happened, or who is accessing the data, what kind of information is going out, and is there anything sensitive that's going on. All this has to be checked by the controller. Next, if such instances are also not possible, then they have to go for stick to organizational principles to keep it within controls. And most important, maybe if all these measures are still not being applied or it's not practical, then they should go for minimization of data transfer. So what happens is most countries, they try to regulate this by having localization of data storage. But this can also be complex for MNCs having footprint all over. Like it might go trans-border, or you can replicate into another country. But the thing is, like, if you have it within the country, the localization, it might increase the cost. It can also lead to other complexities because they have branches or they have companies in other jurisdictions. So these are the few points that we think about when someone comes with with concerns regarding data flow, because these points have to be taken into consideration.
Got it. Okay, interesting. Thank you, Althea. Imran, if we can move to you again from a strategy officer lens. I was wondering your thoughts on after the federal data protection law has come out, how has your approach with dealing with vendors, their data changed or been amended or been upgraded or evolved in that sense? Maybe some thoughts from your side.
Yeah, sure. Very good question again. As the UE data law has been a catalyst for us to move from a large contractual framework to more towards operational and risk-based. So in that point of view, when you are onboarding your vendors or your suppliers, so this is very important who they are. Same like the banks are doing the KYC process in the same way, because now so many startups are coming, so many new businesses are opening. In that way, how you analyze your partner, because the vendors are your partners, who is helping you to boost your business. So in the same way, how you are analyzing, and we can take it to large scale as well, country to country or city to city. We can take example of HEDEN, Puma, who are launching their products in each country, or they are doing manufacturing as well. So in that case, the data flow is now it's very important how they are storing as well as how they are making their partners. What are their revenue streams, what there are operations. Even government is pushing to know more until what is their nationality and how the funds are generating. Because might be in a one country this is feasible and it is very near to the law, but might be another country it is opposite side. So that's why more operational and risk-based business where you have to analyze or where you have to take decisions, making your partners. So in that case, you have to be very keen on the KYC of the suppliers or vendors.
Right. Importance of the KYC. Perfect. Makes sense. Maybe Ella, if I can come to you right now. Again, I wanted to hone in on your experience with China Telecom. Since telecom infrastructure is a high risk category, critical category when it comes to data protection, how has that impacted your ability to procure, let's say, a shared service center facility or a common processing facility as a telecom operator?
It's true that telecommunication is often regarded as critical infrastructure. However, the impact of such classification actually depends on the operation business model in each jurisdiction. It's true that China Telecom thus has a wide range of licensed activities worldwide. However, it's quite interesting that overseas, outside China, in this area, the business of China Telecom is largely structured around the resale model. So this distinction actually brings a lot of flexibility to the discussion of global shared services hub. In our company, Global Shared Services Hub spans over legal, admin, HR, and finance. However, compared with local carriers who directly sell the telecom services to end users, we are basically doing B2B business, which means we are just resell the business of local carriers and then to enterprise as clients. So the good side of this type of business model is that it helps provide clearer functional separation. We are not engaged directly to those core network infrastructure operations, for example, traffic management, system control. So when regulators look at our global service hubs, they know that they are performing some activities that are not deemed as reserved for those licensed or regulated entities. However, on the other hand, being in the reselling business doesn't mean we escape all the risks. Still, being critical infrastructure make us have to shape our internal governance. So how? The design of our company's global service hubs are strictly around need-to-know basis. To be more specific, we strictly limit to company staff's access to data sets. And also we designate specific roles to specific data types. And also we design an escalation reporting lines to make sure that when such incident comes, we can find a accountable team or person for these incidents. So in a nutshell, the resale business model really helps us reduce risks for our global shared service hubs. However, for our company, we also never underestimate the necessity of security control and also having regional accountable teams and personnel.
Thank you. That was a very interesting perspective. Thank you. Althea, if I can come to you now, and maybe we can continue from the theme of Ella. I wanted your perspective, since you're also into contractual drafting and amendments and processing. when a standard contractual clause for data protection is not enough, let's say if it does not meet the adequate legal requirements, how do we even check if a third party will honor it?
So it's the standard contractual clauses need not always protect data.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is, to ensure that there is, first and foremost, we have to see whether the local rules and regulations are consistent with the standard contractual clauses. Also, in addition to that, we have to do, like I mentioned earlier, there should be frequent assessments. They have to assess the risk of data leakage. So this can be done by assessing who is sharing the data, who is accessing the data, what kind of data has been transferred. And like I said earlier, if all these checks are done and still you feel that there is a gap, maybe there might be an operational gap or a regulation gap, then what you need to do is then you have to have organization structures, like Ella said, they have within their organization. So you have organization regulations that has to be put in place. And even if the organization regulations still do not suffice, then the best is to have localization of storage and minimal flow of data.
Right.
This is the best that can be adopted.
Fair, right. Maybe Imran, if we can go to you now. I was wondering, how has the push of AI-driven logistics impacted your data flow strategy?
Okay, because yes, we are involved in a growing growth business, so we are mostly in touch with logistics. AI definitely has entered into our business and it's pushing towards in the corners as well, because until unless you don't know how to use AI, sometimes might be we can do a mistake. And nowadays, when businesses are on their peaks and when companies are competing with each other, a single mistake might be can take you in the last corner or somewhere where the survival is difficult, or might be it can take a lot of time to recover or survive back. So in that case, even in the last panel, the fellow members have discussed about the forensic data investigations and use of data, interruptions, risk of data leakage, all these things. Supply chain, yes, if we look from the logistics point of view, nowadays customer wants delivery at their house. They don't want to go outside. And in that framework, how you can push your logistics or how you can design. With AI, yes, you can make it very helpful for you. You can might be like now we have chatbots, we have on the websites AI agents. Once you enter on the website, you can take a basic questions answer session with the chatbots. You can take preliminary information from that. But definitely somewhere you have to design your mechanism or your systems behind that. In the cargo sector, we can take example of Emirates. We can take example of Aramats, how they are delivering every day deliveries, hundreds and thousands of deliveries they are delivering to the customers, making on time and even updating the customer as well. You receive a message, we have received the package and it would be delivered might be tomorrow or today afternoon. So how they have made their system that much effective that you are getting information on time, which is towards to customer behavior and customer satisfaction, as well as business point of view. You are capturing a customer. So in the business books or in the business language, we have learned that one customer bring 10 customers. So in the same way, when one customer if not satisfied or you have got delivery late, it might be disturb your 10 more customers.
Mhm.
Like this company is not very good because they are not delivering on time, the cost is very high, and blah blah, etc. So in this scenario, like our company, we are in IT as well. We have designed one blockchain system. We are going to launch one agriculture platform. It's called Tatweer. Tatweer is a platform where same people are investing in cryptocurrency or in stock exchange. You can go to the platform and might be you can start invest in the crops
Mhm.
or in the infrastructure for becoming food security and sustainability. So all it's happened due to AI, but definitely this AI should be focused and as well as it should be beneficial for you. In
Mhm.
that scenario, you can cover all aspects of the business
Right.
and you can control your cost.
Right, right. Very interesting. That AI is a starting point. On top of that, you need to make your own buildings, right? Maybe Ella, if I can just ask you something leading from there. Let's say that you have a magic wand with you, and the genie comes and says that you can give one advice to a company that is for the first time, building their data sharing framework, their data infrastructure. What is that advice? What's the North Star that you will advise them to follow?
Regarding this question, I think I would suggest North Star would be just to structure your global data sharing framework through around accountability rather than flexibility or centralization. Because we all know that laws, regulations, and also data locations, they may diverge over time. But being a legal in-house legal counsel, at the end, the essence of our work requires us to answer those questions that are going to be asked by the regulators. They're going to ask who is the owner of the data, who is the decision maker, and who should be held accountable and responsible for the data breach. So bearing in those questions in mind when you design your global data sharing framework will help you be more forecasting. And just imagine like you have such a mechanism around accountability, then you are pretty clear, like inside a multinational group, who is the decision maker, who owns the data. And also like when such data breach happens, what is the escalation reporting line goes to? Who is going to be the person or team being held accountable, right? And also, this is also a way that you can educate your colleagues and let them know that any decision involved in data flow is not only a technical option, it's not only a commercial option, but it's also a choice that involved with legal risks. So I think if we design the global data sharing framework around this term, accountability, then we win more bucks on our company.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Maybe we can use this as the final word that we can take from each of the speakers, and probably you can also link it with your thoughts on, following from Ella, of course, that in case there is a data breach, how do you determine who owns it, and how do you avoid a multi-jurisdictional nightmare? Maybe Althea, we can start off with you.
So accountability should be, in most cases, it's a control of data. Who's accountable for such a breach? Not the provider or the cloud or whoever. So first and most important point is you have to have an accountable person, like what Ella has said, and the escalations. This is my opinion that the accountable person should also be able to mitigate the issue.
Right. Imran, final thoughts.
Very good question. Most of the times I have this discussion with my colleagues and with the corporate professionals as well. Like who would be responsible if the data is leakage or breach or something? IT, either it should go to IT legal owns or the CN policy makers, they should own it, or the system designing. So I would say each department have a piece of that. Nobody 100% responsible for this one because we are working as a team. So when you are working as a team, so everybody equally involved and equally responsible. So like legal department, IT department, finance department or marketing department, every department have their input into the business, and that's why we are getting output. So equally it is distributed, but yes, we say the CEO or the stakeholder management, they are the responsible because they are taking decisions on important things.
Right.
And from the strategic point of view, I would say nowadays it is not the responsibility of one person. It is the responsibility of whole team, how they want to take their business at what level. So actually it's mostly on teamwork.
Right. Thank you. Ella, final thoughts, please.
Compared with Imran's thoughts, I would talk from a more macro perspective. Because our company's data are primarily hosted in mainland China and Hong Kong, so the governance rules in those two regions are more or less the same. For my companies, we don't really worry regarding the ownership of notice process in those two areas. Although we understand that how we decide who has ownership of the notification breach notification obligations are not only with the physical location of the servers, but also we need to add the governance level. So for our company, we usually will designate coordination lead, and he will be in the headquarters office. And this person is going to deal with the fact-finding, timeline preparing, and also external messaging. Well, we are also going to designate one representative person from the local office. He's going to be in cooperation with the headquarters person. While the work he does is to reporting to the local authorities. Well, how we coordinate the work these two persons do? So basically, we have two controls. The first control is that we only have one version of the story. We only have one version of facts statement, only have one fact of timeline. And although in different areas, the local authorities may have different requirements regarding the reporting format or standards, but we all use one same version of facts. And the second is that even before such incidents happen, internally we have a co-sharing table where we write what type of incidents are reportable in which jurisdiction or not. So even before such incidents happened, we are aligned on the same page. Why we adopt such a measurement? Because we don't want to make a simple case more complicated. We want to make everyone aligned on the same page and to solve the issues more efficiently.
Thank you. Althea, Imran, Ella, thank you so much. This was a wonderful session. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.